Hi everyone, I thought I would make another St. Patrick's Day card. I needed one more, and rather than make the same card again, actually I need two more, so maybe I'll make yet another version. Let's see. I'm making a second kind of St. Patrick's Day card that kind of looks similar to the one I made earlier, if you've even seen it. So maybe this is the only one you've seen. I'm starting out by taping the card down. This is a piece of watercolor paper that I have cut to 4 by 5 1/4, and I've cut it that way so that I can attach it to a standard size greeting card base, which I will show you at the end. So I've taped my middle down in kind of a funny way, slight diagonal, and I'm using just some, this is Holbein soft tape, and it's about 3/4 of an inch. You can get it in different sizes, and I like this because it is reliable. Sometimes I just use washi tape to tape it down, and that works a lot of the time. In fact, it did on the first one I did. But then I did another card slightly different and it didn't work. So, you know, it's just, this one is reliable. This is Holbein soft tape, and you can use other tapes that you have, masking paper, whatever you like to use, or masking fluid. If you have a really good masking fluid, you can use that as well. And what this is going to be is this area here is going to have nothing on it so that I can actually put my greeting here. And this is a fun little technique that you can do, and you can paint anything then, up and down, flowers, whatever you like. I'm going to go with some clover today. And so I am going to draw in some clover. And clover are little kind of heart-shaped, and sometimes there's 3 leaves. Sometimes, if you're lucky, you get a 4-leaf clover. So I'm going to make whoever gets this lucky and make sure that I put a 4-leaf clover somewhere in here. So I'm just kind of overlapping some leaves. Some of them will be full clover, some of them will not. And just kind of going through and making some shapes here. And I'm not worrying too much about the perfectionism here. I'm just trying to make a cute little card. And so I'm going to have this one be like a side view of there we go. So it's kind of, if you're looking at it from the side. And let's see, maybe we'll make one a little higher here. And pretend there's one coming over there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, and I'm just freehanding them. The nice thing about this is that these are simple leaves to make. You could, the reason why I'm drawing them out is because I'm actually going to paint the negative space. So I'll show you what that means in just a minute. Let's see. I want a 4-leaf clover, so I'm going to put a little 4-leaf clover here. And then make that another 4-leaf one, and then let's do another one of those where I'm looking at the side. There. Okay. So it just kind of getting some clover down. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and paint around the on top of them. And so that I'm going to use kind of this green gold shade. Any lighter green will do. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that across the edge here of that taped area. And I'm just going to go kind of fast, trying to go fast and not overthink it, because I don't want this to be a difficult thing. Sometimes I want to, we get into a project of painting that's going to be on your wall and you want it to be 100% perfect. And I don't want to do that with this because I want this to be fun and fast, and I want to get it mailed and out the door. Okay, so I'm softening the edges here. I went a little heavy, so I'm just gonna, I added some clean water to my brush, and then I'm just kind of softening the edges so they fade out a little bit. Maybe some more clean water. I should probably have cleaned my water out and gotten fresh water because it's pretty green. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna allow this to dry. And last time I painted it, I ended up realizing that I went too light. So I'm actually gonna come in and touch some deeper pigment in here. There we go. And get it darker because last time I didn't, and I had to do a second layer. Okay, so I'm just kind of going in. Let's see if I can soften any of this a little bit more. Another way to soften an edge is you can kind of lift away with a paper towel, or I use this kind of little rag so I don't have to go through so many paper towels. Okay, there we go. So I've got my background. I'm going to allow that to dry. And normally I would use, sometimes I use my heat tool to dry off an area. However, when you use a heat tool on top of sometimes the tape, it makes the tape peel away. It kind of lifts up a little bit. And I'm trying really hard to get a clean edge here. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm not going to use my heat tool. I'm just going to let it be. So I think I could just fan it or go check on the lasagna that I have in the oven right now for dinner. Let's see, top. It's still pretty damp. So I'm going to pause it and I'll be back in a minute after I check the oven. Okay, I am back. I think it's dry enough. Okay, so I am going to use this Hooker's Green. I think I might switch to a smaller brush. So this was a 6 round. I'm going to go with my 4 and see what I think of that one. And I've got Hooker's Green here, and I'm going to mix it with some of this green gold to kind of get a different shade going. So I've got a few different shades on my palette. I like to have some ready to go. And then I'm going to mix some of this indigo with some of the Hooker's Green. So I've got that shade ready to go. And then I think I lost most of my plain Hooker's Green, so let's give it some of that. Okay, so I've got a few different green varieties going here. I lost, oh, okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna go with the dark here, and let me dry my brush a little bit and pick up some of this darker color. And here I'm gonna go and paint the areas that are around the clover. So I'm coming in and you'll see me outline the clover. And I'm just gonna go in and around the various clovers. Now when I get to an end, like okay, here I could go all the way, but here I've got nothing above it. So when I get to that, I'm gonna do this solid one real quick because my brush is pretty wet, full of paint, so I'm gonna use it while I can. Okay, so here I've got this area that doesn't have any clover. So what I'm going to do is rinse my brush, touch it on my towel, and I'm going to fade it out. So it's going to kind of go up into this area. And I'm just fading it around. I cleaned too much of the paint off. I'll touch some more in there. I'm going to go around these little clover that are above it and don't have anything above. And I'm going to just continue to fade that out past the clover. Okay, and then I'm just going to keep continuing around the page. So I've got, and that's actually the only one that was kind of under, oh, this one's got like a little space. Let's do this real dark right here, kind of outlining what's there, and then fading out. So I'm going to give it a little bit of an outline. So I've got a little bit of paint there. But then I'm going to clean my brush and fuzz it out, fade that out. around. Just kind of fading this out. Now, one thing I have learned over the years is that the paint dries lighter. So I'm going to actually darken. This one looked a little too light to me. So I'm kind of touching the wet area with a little bit more pigment and hoping that it'll bleed out so I don't have to do too much spreading on my own, but I probably will have to. So I'm just touching it again. So I don't want it super light. All right, so it didn't bleed as much as I wanted, so I'm just kind of pushing it along a little bit further with some clean water and pushing it further. Sometimes you gotta help it along. And then there's another one up here, so I'm gonna go around that. Okay, let's add a little bit on top here and around here, and then fade that out. So this particular card is easy, but it does require patience because you're constantly touching little areas, and I don't have a problem with that. I love to watch it just kind of whoop out. Watercolor is one of my favorites. So this to me is relaxing and fun, kind of like a Zen moment. All right, so I'm going to come in and do this deep area here, and in here, and then, as before, fade it out. Okay, I love that little bit of indigo coming out there. I'm gonna maybe put some more indigo in my work here. It's like that little bit of blue that you can see is different. I like it. Okay, so that is, and I'm gonna deepen this. Okay, that is the first layer down there. Let's do the same thing here. And I think I'll be quiet and fast forward this in editing so that you don't have to listen to the exact same instruction again. Okay, I have completed that part and I think I like how it is. So the next step here is going to be deciding which of the clover needs to pop out a little bit, because see how we've got several, so they're all kind of similar in shade and tones and stuff. So I've got them overlapping. So sometimes we want to make sure that there's a difference between the two that are overlapping. So I've got this background here and this one here, and then there's one on top of it. So I think I'm going to do this one on top of it, and that way I've got these two that I don't have to touch. So I'm just going to give this a little extra something something by mixing up. Now I don't want it to, it can't be darker than the background, so I'm going to take that background color, but then I'm going to bring in some more of this green gold and kind of get an in-between color. And I'm going to just highlight it a little bit here by darkening this. And I don't want it to be too dark, too much darker, because I want it to still look like part of the rest of the clover family, but I just need it to stand out a little bit. So there's one. And if I want, I could come in and drop in some kind of extra gold here, just so it's got more of that green gold, but there. All right, and let's do the same thing here on this guy. So I'm gonna go in and take this kind of more medium green and add it to this guy. And that way he stands out. But it doesn't have to be solid. Like that guy's a little too solid. I'm gonna bring in some more of this green gold. And I'm overthinking it. I just said I was trying to not overthink it because it's a card that I want to get out the door. It's supposed to be fun and not stressful. And I'm like, this one's too flat. On the painting that I did, that was like a big painting, I worked on every single clover, whereas this, I'm trying to not do. Okay, so I've got that one, and then let's do a little something over here. Although now I've kind of got every other one going. There I go again, overthinking. Okay, don't overthink it, Beth. Okay, let's drop in some of that green gold. Just to kind of dull that up a little bit. Okay. Now this guy up here, I'm going to go ahead and make him kind of dark because he is hanging out over here. And hopefully people will know that this is a side view of, of a clover. I hope that comes across. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing down here. Which ones can I darken? I'm going to do this one because he is hiding under this one. And I'm going to do this one darker, kind of like I did that sideways one over there. And this guy. So I kind of darkened it where it overlapped, like it's got a shadow coming down on it. Overthinking it, of course. And okay, not that you want to not take care in your cards. I do want to take care. I just don't want to make it a 5-hour thing, you know, because like I said, cards to me, I want them in the mail, most importantly, because I want them to go to who they're supposed to go to, and I want to have fun. And I want them to be like a stress-free version. I hope I'm not putting my head under the camera. A stress-free version of the larger painting. I don't know if I mentioned or not that I teach at the Park District, and we do a larger regular size, like what is it, 9 by 11? I'll have to look at the pad that we use, but we use you know, kind of a standard size watercolor paper, and we paint an actual big piece. And then I like to paint the exact same thing smaller after I've done the big one, because once you've done it once, you've kind of got it down. You've figured out where you've got issues and what needs, you know, a little extra care. And then you can make a smaller version somewhat quicker. And people seem to like it. I started doing that at class, and usually people say, oh, are we going to make a mini today? And or did you bring a mini today? And I always try to. I think I do every time. And I think they're just really fun because you're not as stressed making a small version. It's just more fun. And so I hope that comes across, and I hope that you'll try it. If you're, I also am a Stampin' Up! Person, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so I do a lot of card classes, and people come to those, and some of my card class people know that I also do watercolor. So if you're one of those people that are from my card channel, try this with your inks. It's really fun to get out your ink colors and paint with those. I do that all the time. You can tell because like I paint out of my ink pad. And it's really fun to do that, and you can do the exact same thing that I'm doing here with your ink pads. So they work almost, I mean, they're not quite exactly the same, but they're pretty similar in how they act. Okay, I'm gonna call it and say that that is good. Okay, so I'm going to peel the tape and hope, now see, you can see that like that's on, I hope that's on top of the paint and not under, on top of the tape and not under the tape, but we'll see. We'll see how good this tape held up, because I promised you that it was the most reliable, and now I'm like, oh, why did I say that? Okay. Oh, so far so good. Look at that, and hardly any fuzz at all. I love it. Okay, so this is gonna take this off, and then here you can write Happy St. Patrick's Day, or whatever you want to write there. My brother was born by St. Patrick's Day. His name is Patrick. And I made him a card like this, a little bigger for his birthday, and then on the inside I came up with a little rhyme like that sounded like an Irish blessing. I made it about barbecue. If you can come up with some fun little Irish rhymes, add them in the comments, because that might be fun for everybody to kind of come up with different rhymes. But mine was, may your charcoal stay hot and your smoker stay lit and the sauce keep flowing until you say quit. That's my barbecue sauce rhyme. That's all I can come up with. I'm not a really great rhymer, but he liked it. He said it was fun. We got together, the whole family birthday, because I've got lots of March birthdays, and we did that last week, and he thought it was really cute, so that's good. All right, now, I don't love my handwriting, and I'm not great with lettering with watercolor either, or brush pens or any of that. So sometimes I will print off a sentiment on my computer, and sometimes I will print it up and then put it underneath and shine some light from underneath and then trace with the brush. And I've done that before too. Or as I told you, I am a stamp person. I love my stamps, and I happen to have a St. Patrick's Day stamp, so I am gonna just press the easy button here and use it. So I am inking up my stamp. Now if I make a mistake, that will be a bummer. Like if I accidentally oh, I did a good job. Okay, so that is my Happy St. Patrick's Day stamp, and it's an older one, so don't go looking for it for sale, unfortunately. But I didn't get rid of it because I love it. It's my only St. Patrick's Day one, and I really love it. So you can do, like I said, print it off the computer, handwrite it, trace it, stuff like that. I did have a good friend is like a four-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have. Super cute, right? And that's something you can handwrite on the inside. I'm going to put it there in case you didn't hear it. A good friend is like a four-leaf clover, hard to find and lucky to have. This is something you can write on the inside. Handwrite it because you don't have that stamp. And then what I do is I tape this down, and so you can use some double-sided tape. I happen to have a really nice tape runner, so I'm going to use that. Is it totally dry? I'm going to use this and put this down. Now, when we've painted on it, sometimes the paper has buckled. If you use a heat tool at the end, mine stayed pretty flat, so I didn't have to do it. But if it buckled, you can take a heat tool, and it kind of helps flatten it out a little bit when you dry it thoroughly. Or you can actually iron these. Did you know that? And or press it between some books, or just allow it to dry fully before untaping it, and that really helps it as well. So isn't that pretty? That's my St. Patrick's Day card. I made another one earlier, so here's two of them. Okay, that is one. And then I want to show you what happened when I did this one. See, I used washi tape and it came through on the other side. So you can do a couple, and here, look, I did different. Here I painted the background, and here I just painted the clover. And here I didn't even draw it out first. I just kind of used my brush and just made some clover around the tape area. So I've got this tape area that is bleeding through. I could either finish off this shamrock or clover, I keep saying the wrong thing. I could either finish off this clover. I tried to lift it, but it's not coming up. And finish off this one and then write something in between. Or another option was I was gonna just make myself, I mean, I like the idea of the taped area being nice, but I could just take this and put that down right there. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. And then I can trim it down and use it this way. So I'm just going to cut this off. So there's little, if you accidentally bled through your paper, through your tape, if you don't have the Holbein soft tape, you can find a fix for it. So there, I've got some St. Patrick's Day cards ready to go. Another thing you can do this in is a little journal. I was also thinking it would be fun, but I don't, video's already long enough, but I was thinking it'd be fun to take a gold pen and add some gold shamrocks. Oh, I keep saying shamrocks. We had a debate about that at the Park District when we made the painting at the Park District. Some of us were saying that shamrocks and clover, we know they're different things, but which one is the heart-shaped one? I feel that shamrocks are more triangular. The ones I feel like I have shamrocks, and they are more triangular in shape. And I love the clover because clover is like lucky clover, right? I feel like the shamrocks that I have are more like this. And they're really stringy. And anyway, I really enjoy I have some in my house, and they're just kind of these fun little triangles if you ever want to draw a shamrock. Anyway, that's my opinion. I could be completely wrong. So I hope you make some St. Patrick's Day fun, and let me know if you do. I would love to hear about it. And if you come up with some good sayings, let us know about that too. I think I am going to add some gold pen on this. I have to go check on my dinner, but maybe later I will come in and add some gold pen to this, and maybe I'll put it on my Facebook page or something. So if anybody wants to check it out, it's just really fun, and they're just a fun card to make. So I hope you make some. Bye.